Okay. Hi,
All
Dave.
right. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. I
How
know it's
was Wine
Thursday
Wednesday?
because yesterday was
I
Wednesday.
I
That's what I
missed
was
it.
going to say.
No, I know yesterday was Wednesday, but how was Wine Wednesday? Because I missed it and I apologize. I haven't had a chance to catch up yet. Was it amazing?
It was good. We had Mike and Ann on from the Bhutan Wine Company, the founders
Nice.
and the CEO of the Bhutan Wine Company. It was really cool. We did actually. This is a good moment to announce this. Well, first of all, hi everybody. Welcome back to the dVIN AMA. We do this bi-weekly. I'm your host, Jana Kryline, co-founder of Club dVIN and dVIN Labs, and this is my co-founder, the conceptual founder, the real deal, David Garrett. Hi, Dave. Do you want to say anything
Hi.
else about yourself?
No. I'm Dave Garrett.
No.
I'm taller than you think.
Maureen told me that. So Dave met one of our team members. We all work remote in this world, right? So Dave met one of our team members yesterday for the first time, and I called her today, and I was like, "How was your meeting with Dave?" And she was like, "He's so tall." It's true.
Yeah.
He is one of the tallest people that I know in this world. So yeah,
Well,
I know.
and you live in Germany
I do.
where there's
And
lots of tall people. I
there
have
are a
to
lot
tell
of tall
you,
people. It's potatoes. I don't know.
yeah. Well, it's just Northern Europe. I was in Copenhagen for a couple weeks in the beginning of the month. And I will tell you that coming from Barcelona, all of a sudden, like I could fit places. Like I could fit at tables and like I would walk down the street and like I could fit in like booths at restaurants and like I could shop for clothes and there were actually clothes for regular human-sized people at clothing shops rather than like I would go to a clothing shop. You know, if I go to a shoe store here in Spain, I walk in, they look at my feet, and they just start laughing. They're like, "You're not going to find any shoes in here. Like
Get
you,
out,
you
you
have to,
weirdo.
yeah, go to the clown store or order online." Is pretty much what they tell me. And when I order online, they always come from Germany or the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Cannot buy clothing for normal human-sized people here in Spain
Does
because they're
that
all
mean
very
that
little.
Does that mean the
Yeah,
next time I see you, you're going to be wearing something other than Lululemon?
probably not.
Okay.
No,
That's
no,
fine.
unlikely.
Yeah.
You find one thing and you just sort of stick with that thing,
Yeah.
or at least that's been my experience in life. So, anyways, it was very nice. I had a nice time in Copenhagen. I ate some good food. I drank some good wine. I saw the Little Mermaid and other fun and interesting things. Took two boat tours. Had a wonderful time in
Small.
Copenhagen. Yeah,
Copenhagen's great.
yeah,
I
yeah.
when I stopped through Copenhagen. I've been to Copenhagen twice. Once with the VDP for a German wine tasting, but the first time I was there, I was passing through, and the thing that I found like so cool that I had never seen, and I travel a lot, was that like in the middle of the city around all the coffee shops and everything, because there's water everywhere in Copenhagen, people would just be like having a coffee and then dive into the water and then like jump back up, and like it's just so cool. The city is
Well, because the canals are clean,
yeah,
very, very
like
clean,
everyone does it.
unlike other cities. Yeah, like you
Yeah,
wouldn't do
there's no
that
like
in Venice, for
paddleboarding
example.
through the city. Yeah, you would not do
Yeah,
that. I wouldn't do that.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. That made an
Great
impression.
wine lists, by the way. I
Yeah.
used Bacchus quite a bit in Copenhagen to identify and pick out some wines. Great wine lists, great restaurants. I will tell you, Copenhagen, great hang in August. Really, really fun, really great place. Everybody slept in, but I can't really sleep, so I would get up in the morning, and the kind of fun thing that I did is every day for I don't know 11 days, 12 days, I guess. I went to a different coffee shop. So I found like all of these 4.8, 4.9, 5.0 ranked coffee shops within walking distance. And each one was different. Each one like had a different little breakfast vibe, but like very Northern European muesli, like weird hard boiled eggs and weird bread. But
I'm just used to it because I live in
pickles, a
Germany.
lot of pickled things. I ate a lot
Hmm.
of pickled things for breakfast, which was weird, but had a really great time and went to um, 11 different coffee shops for breakfast. So
How many days were
really
you
enjoyed
there?
that. I think 11 or maybe it was 12 days, something like that.
Yeah. And you fit in the chairs. So that's, and
And
like
I
you fit
fit
through the
in the
door.
chairs. Yeah, I didn't have to duck all the time. Like it worked. And like I would walk down the street and like I could I could actually have good posture because I could look at people in the eye instead of like looking at the top of people's heads, which is what I do most of the time.
Southern Europe was not made for you, Dave.
Well,
You
the
weren't made
weather
for
is
it.
made for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
the weather
It's,
is nice. I have to tell you,
yeah. You know what? You
it was
can't
nice
have
to
it
come back to the
all.
sun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So how's your August?
My August has been good. My August has been interesting. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. A lot of
You're not supposed to. That's the problem. You're not supposed to be doing stuff in August.
yeah.
In Europe, you're supposed to be chilling by the pool, hanging out, working a couple hours.
I
You're
played
not
tennis
supposed to be
today.
doing a lot in August.
I played tennis today.
Good.
Which is, it was
Did you
way too
win?
early. It was like I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm getting
Okay.
my swing. My swing. I'm also playing
So,
golf. Anyway, this is like, I'm sure that everyone's really enjoying this. So
yeah.
I have taken up tennis and golf.
Now, in the list of questions that people asked, nobody asked how is Jana's backswing. That was
What's
not
Jana's
that
handicap
was
in
not
golf?
one of the AMAs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that could be, if anyone's interested, throw it in the chat. I will tell you how bad I am. Anyway, no, but first you asked about Wine Wednesday yesterday. Yesterday's Wine Wednesday, we tested out our new format. So for those of you who join us regularly, the Wine Wednesday format is a little bit different now. So yesterday we tested it out. We had Mike and Ann from the Bhutan Wine Company on. We talked about the next trip that's coming up in collaboration with Real Vision's RVIP community. It was really cool. We did the first 30 minutes. So we always start on Wednesday at 5:30 Central European time. And we're going to do from now on, most of the time, this is if we have like a winemaker or somebody on that is going to do a Q&A at the end. This is the new format. We're going to do the first 30 minutes public live stream, and then the last 30 minutes, the public stream is going to cut, and then all of our members are going to get to stick around and have a kind of private Q&A with the guest. So we've got some pretty exciting guests coming up in September. If you're a wine person, and I assume if you're watching this and you're hanging out with Dave and I and you're, watching our content, then you probably are a wine person. And if you don't know anything about wine, you might still recognize Cheval Blanc. So we're gonna have somebody from the chateau at Cheval Blanc joining us in September. Also from Pichon Lalande. This is really cool because not only does it mean that we're having these super special, iconic chateau representatives and winemakers on our live stream, and also for our guests to be able to talk to one-on-one after the live cuts. But the reason that we're doing it and the timing that we're building it all around is we're timing it around our wine drops. So if you see a Wine Wednesday coming up with Pichon Lalande or Cheval Blanc, then the following day we are going to be releasing an ultra rare wine from that chateau. So it's all about getting a relationship with those chateaux, getting access, and also being able to get those wines in your cellar. So, and obviously with pristine provenance and tokenized and all the great stuff that dVIN does and is building. So that's really cool. Our Wine Wednesdays are about to get pimped. So yeah. Anyways, stay tuned for that. And obviously check out our Luma calendar. You've probably seen it. It's pretty stacked. Got lots of stuff coming up. So that's where you'll see everything popping onto the calendar. Look forward to seeing you there. And now let's get to our AMA. Are we ready, Dave? Let me pull up the questions.
I am ready.
All right. So from Sadiq Sanilaula. I am probably saying that wrong, but I want to say it again. Sadiq Sanilaula. How will dVIN make tokenized wine accessible to small collectors or wine lovers in emerging markets, not just elite investors?
Well, do you want to take the first part of that and I can take it, or do you want me to take it, Jan? I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's dVIN Labs and there's Club dVIN.
Yeah.
I can talk a little bit about Club
Why don't you
dVIN.
talk about Club and then I'll talk about Even Labs.
Sure. So in terms of access, we have dVIN Labs, which is the tech company, and then we have Club dVIN, which is our private members club. This is what I was talking about when I was referring to Wine Wednesday and how the first 30 minutes are going to be public, and then the last 30 minutes are for our members. So to be a member of Club dVIN, there's actually spots open right now. You have to apply. So if you go to clubdvin.com, you can apply to be in the club. It is all about access. So we're talking about exactly this. We're talking about access to impossible to find wines. We're talking about access to the winemakers themselves so that you'll be able to build your allocations of rare wines that are also impossibly hard to get year to year, if at all. And then obviously like how many bottles of that wine you can get. It's like buying a supercar. Like if you've bought this, and this car in the past, then you get to buy like the supercar. It's kind of similar with wine. So we're kind of opening up that access with tokenization. And there's all kinds of ways that we're doing that through, proof of experience. So when you can prove that you have had a certain number of those wines by showing a tasting token at the winery, then that is in the future like your proof of experience that you are one of the most loyal fans of this winery. That's really interesting. There's also allocation tokens that are going to help get you more access and kind of permanent access probably to certain wineries. But yeah, getting into Club dVIN is basically your all access pass to the investment grade wine world. So we've got really deep roots in the wine industry worldwide. We pretty much know everybody in the wine world. We host pretty exclusive events like First Harvest in the Kingdom of Bhutan, things like that. We do winemakers dinners and things like that around the world. So I would say if you want access to tokenized wine, and if you're a small collector or a wine lover, then this is an emerging market. This is an asset class that we say it's about to wake up. It's about to come on chain, and that's going to change things in a really big way. Just for the future of wine in general. There's going to be, instant settlement in the future rather than these like 2-week settlements with massive fees. You're going to be able to trade wine like you'd trade stocks or bonds or, uh, meme coins. But yeah, it's really going to open up access and kind of remove a lot of that opaque, atomized, yeah, old school way that the wine world has always worked. So, where elite investors have access because they know somebody who knows somebody, or, that's those days are over.
Exactly. And like, so that's the club side. But it's actually it's a super good question because what you're asking about is like, you know, you're asking, how can we uh how can we make wine more accessible to more people in different places of the world? Because the club really, Jana tries to pretend like she's not snobby, but the club really is it's exclusive, and it's kind of set up for an exclusive membership. Both, folks that are interested in really kind of blowing up their wine life, as I say, but also people that are interested in being early adopters, right? It's the first people that are able to take advantage of these technologies that we're
But
building.
it's not snobby, Dave, because you don't have to know anything about wine, and you
It's
don't have to be one of those like
no, no, no.
I
I didn't say the club was snobby. I said
no.
you're snobby. It's different. Two different
Oh,
things. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
whatever.
I'm actually I'm for with wine. I'm definitely I'm snobbier, snobbiest.
100%
Um.
confirmed.
Uh. Anyway, well, but that's because I live in a real wine producing country.
Oh
So,
God. Uh,
but anyway, but here's what I'm saying. What dVIN Labs is doing is taking the model that we're building for Club dVIN and turning it into a much more accessible product that can be white labeled and launched all over the world. And so, what we've built with a bunch of different partners is kind of like a simpler, easier to use, much more. public facing, less exclusive marketplace that any wine merchant can white label and use alongside their existing offering. So, and what we've set up really in the short term is we've got an initial partner in Spain, an initial partner in France, an initial partner in Switzerland, and I'll rattle off a bunch more: UK, Dubai, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and the US. And those partners, uh, the concept that we're building on is that those partners will launch a white label version of the marketplace that will have a single order book. Like you'll be able to trade if you're a customer of the partner in Japan. You'll be able to trade with a customer of the white label partner in Madrid, and back and forth. Um, but what we think that does is it provides accessibility all over the world. And if those first 10 pilots work well, there's no reason that we couldn't expand that to 1,000, 100, and then 1,000. And that's really the long-term idea, is that we've got 1,000 white label partners, or in the beginning it's white label, and over time we'll have an SDK and API suite where any merchant would be able to tokenize the wines in their business, and that's I think that's really exciting, and that's kind of that's the long-term vision. So we really do think that not only, and that kind of answers, I think, Sadiq, that answers both of your questions. The first is make tokenized wine available in markets all around the world, but it also ensures long-term provenance, because the way that we're doing that, the reason that we can do it is, the platform that we've built, the dVIN protocol. The main thing that it does more than anything else is it abstracts, or it separates, chain of ownership from chain of custody. So you can own a bottle of wine and you can track ownership using the smart contract, using a digital cork, but you can also track custody using a digital cork. Meaning, if that whoever owns that bottle is not necessarily the same entity that has the custody of that bottle. But if you can track both of those things, you can ensure long-term provenance, and you can protect not just collectors, retailers, restaurants. You can collect everyone from counterfeit risk, because as long as you can track a bottle, both the ownership of a bottle all the way back to the winery, but also the custody of the bottle all the way back to the winery, it's very, very difficult for counterfeiters to succeed at any scale. Look, you're always going to have one-offs. You're going to have one-offs all the time. Like you can't avoid that. You have one-offs in every industry around the world. But the reason that you have the big problem in the wine industry is not the one-offs. The problem is that it's rampant. The problem is that there's more counterfeit bottles of Penfolds in China than there are real bottles of Penfolds in China, right? The problem is Rudy Cardowan doing $80 million worth of rare wines. When you have a true deed of ownership associated with each bottle, and when you can track each bottle, both ownership and custody, all the way back to the winemaker, then you're just going to have, it's much more difficult to commit fraud in the wine business, and you get caught, right? Like if you were to buy a bottle at auction tomorrow, and find out that it was fake, like you could go and talk to Sotheby's, but Sotheby's would be like, well, we know who we bought it from, but they don't necessarily know who they bought it from, and there's no real chain of ownership, much less a chain of custody. But if you can look at a smart contract and say, okay, we know who owned this bottle and we know where that bottle was stored, then it's pretty easy for you to go and say, okay, you have a relatively limited number of people to talk to. So, you can actually figure out where the fraud might have been committed. And so we think that that's a long term, it's a great solution.
Yeah. I want to clarify one thing, because you were talking about marketplace access.
I know that there is good wine made in Germany. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I wasn't
yes,
trying to.
that's
Man,
we
you're such a
gotta.
stickler.
Oh my God. There's just, I don't even know where to, I don't even, I'm going to send you, I keep telling you this, I'm going to send you a bunch of German
And you
wine, and I
haven't.
haven't done it yet
And
because
I'm
you
going to keep
don't
saying that
deserve
until
it.
you actually send me some decent wine from Germany.
Look, Dave, all that lip. All right. Anyways, what I wanted to say was what Dave and I were talking about obviously is two separate things. So I just want to clarify. Dave was talking about access to a global marketplace, right? So wines that are coming online from merchants all over the world. It's a hyper scalable business. It's going to be amazing. We're building towards that. What I was talking about was Club dVIN access to wines and winemakers, which is kind of two different things. So everybody would have access to buying these wines in a global marketplace. But the Club dVIN access, the benefit of that is that you get it for goal is around 20-25% under what you'd get it at auction for. So that's kind of our standard benchmark. Anyways, and then Dave, did you even talk about like you kind of explained dPIN concept, but you didn't talk about any hardware on the bottle or anything like that. Are we going down the rabbit hole?
No, let's not. Let's do that. Let's do that another time. Let's wait for someone to ask us about dPIN.
Okay.
I actually posted a pretty cool article about dPIN today on Twitter. So
On
like
on
pretty
X.
cool.
We can't be live on X and you calling it Twitter. It's inappropriate.
I don't know. I can't call it that. I can't. I'm
I know.
sorry. I'm old school. I'm an old man. There are certain things that like I'm sorry, but I'm gonna dead name Twitter for the rest of my life.
Oh, look what I've started. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Sadiq, I hope that that answers both of your questions. And we are going to move on. The loyalty points program is over. What is
Correct.
next?
So let's talk about that for a minute because we're kind of at the end of the summer. A lot of people ask us about TGE all the time. A lot of people ask us about loyalty all the time. A lot of people ask us about VinCoin all the time. And that's all completely fair. We went and launched a token last year. We I think we've said a bunch of times that was a mistake. Not only I think it was a mistake to do, but even the way that we did it was a mistake, and I think we had the wrong partners, and we it was poorly executed at best. And that sucks. It was something that we spent a lot of time on and a lot of money on, and it did not produce the results that we needed, and that has been painful for a while. Well, I've spent, I would say, the bulk of the last 6 months, or a lot of time in the last 6 months, trying to figure out what to do. Right? Like we need to know, like how do we do this? I spent half of my time building, and we've been building some really cool stuff, and we've got a lot of cool stuff that we've already announced, and cool stuff that we're going to be announcing, and we've been launching a lot of products. And I spend the other half of my time figuring out, like, okay, what are we going to do with this token? Like, what are we going to do with it? And what I hear, you know, I have two different voices. I have two different angels on my shoulder. One of them is the constant notes from on Twitter or in our Telegram chat or emails or whatever of people saying, when TGE, right? Like, when are you going to launch? When do I get my money? Is what I keep hearing from a lot of people, which is fine and fair. On the other side, when I talk to people that really know what they're doing in the token space, they're like, there's no rush. There was a rush back last year when you guys did it. There was a bubble in the market that, had it worked, that lots of people did take advantage of, and had it worked for you, you would have been able to take advantage of, and it would have put some resources in your pocket, and it would have made you a nice group of consumers to work with. That did not work for us. We have, as many of you know, as soon as right after TGE, we went out and just started buying all the tokens back. So we actually own or control like 99.6% of all the token float, which is why you don't see it trading anywhere and why there's very little of it. And we thought for a long time that the best thing for us to do was to do a relaunch right away. But what I'm hearing from the smartest people that I know right now is that there's no rush. There's nothing out there that would suggest that that now is the perfect time to launch a token or to relaunch a token. And what almost everybody says is that the right thing to do right now is to build your business. Go build your business. We definitely have built a great tokenization business, and we've built a really cool engine. And the numbers that I'm hearing right now that people are saying is once you have about $1 billion worth of assets on chain, and once you're doing somewhere around, maybe 100 million, 50 to $100 million worth of turnover a month. So generating, a couple $100,000 in fees a month. That's when it's time to launch a network token. We're pretty far from that. And I think we're probably a year away from that, maybe more. That's the time that we're going to launch a network token. And well, at least for right now, that things might change. The market could change. It changes pretty fast. And maybe it'll be different from that. But what everyone that I know, the smartest people that I know, and our investors are telling us is, there's no rush. You shouldn't be rushing into this. You should do it when there's a real economy that you can plug that token into. And that's the smart thing to do. And, don't try to ignore the people that are telling you what they maybe think is in their best interest. What I'll tell you is that if you have tokens or if you have a claim on tokens, you're just going to have to be patient. It's going to take us a while. We're grinding it out like anybody else, for better or for worse. What we're doing in the blockchain space is difficult. There is a physical product, and because there's a physical product, there are a lot of externalities that aren't something that you have to consider if you're putting T-bills on chain or even putting real estate on chain, right? The cool thing about real estate, what makes real estate really easy to put on chain is that it doesn't move. It also isn't consumed. And there also already is a deed of ownership for real estate. None of that is true for wine, right? Wine does not have a deed of ownership. We have to create it from scratch. Wine moves around. It's mobile. So like we have to, you need a custodian and so custodians need to be part of that smart contract. And eventually, like I say, if you're lucky, the wine is consumed. And you have all of those things are considerations in tokenization for wine. So the reason why it hasn't been done already and the reason why it takes so long to do is because it's difficult. That said, we think that it's going to get cracked and we think we're the people to crack it. And it is a giant business. It is a multi-billion-dollar business. So, for all of those out there, all of you folks out there that participated in the loyalty program, we really appreciate it. And it's coming. Like don't think that we're not working at it every day. But what we're not doing is we're not gonna put a priority on launching any part of the business that isn't in the best interest of the long-term prospects of dVIN Labs, of VinCoin, and of the industry in general. So it's going to take some time. Again, there are, you can look at our business, you can look at a million other businesses out there, or, a dozen other businesses out there, I guess, that are tokenizing real world assets. None of them are tackling what we're tackling. None of them. We're obviously we're taking a big bite. And that just means that it's going to take a little bit longer. So I appreciate everybody's patience. I'm personally uh, apologize for getting all the dates wrong, for getting the timing wrong, for not really, maybe not 100% being knowing how the market works and how everything works, and also not being able to predict what would happen. Like, just didn't know. So that said, we work on it every day, and we're going to keep working on it every day, and we're going to keep grinding away. So um, that's what I can say. We're probably not going to relaunch a loyalty program anytime soon. We are probably not going to relaunch the token anytime soon. We do not. I don't have a date. I don't have a date when we're going to do either of those things, and I don't have a date when I know when we're going to do either of those things. So it's not soon. And again, I apologize for that. Doesn't mean that we're not working. We're working on a lot of stuff, and we're launching a lot of stuff. Anyone who's paying attention can see all the stuff that we're doing. We're just not focused on that because I don't think that that's something that we should be focused on right now. That's not in the best interest of the business. It's not in the best interest of the community. It's not in the best interest of the protocol, and it's not in the best interest of the industry, in my opinion. Happy to hear any dissenting opinions, and happy to chat with anybody about this. But that's where we are today, and that's me spending months and months talking to the smartest people that I know. So, wow, we're way over, Jana.
No, but that was very well put, Dave. Very well put.
Oh,
And it's
well,
true.
thank you.
We are we are building. We are building a lot of stuff. And yeah, like Dave said, pay attention. Pay attention to I'm gonna say X. Dave will say Twitter. I'm
sorry, say it again. What do you call it?
Yeah. Well, anyways, we are over. And I think that kind of answered the last few questions. So those of you who want to keep, throwing the when TGE into the X comments, you go for it. Go for it. But yeah, it's not the priority. So thank you very much for joining us. Before we wrap it up, remember, if you didn't catch the first few minutes of this segment or this episode, then don't forget to join us next Wednesday or every Wednesday when we do our live stream with, I'm your host, but it's going to be a really interesting, fun, new format. We're always going to have iconic winemakers, estate directors, pioneers shaping the future of wine. There's always an exciting guest. We are going to be live for the first 30 minutes, and then the second 30 minutes, the public stream is going to cut, and all of our Club dVIN members are going to get to do private Q&As with the guest. So if you're interested in that kind of value, then hop on over to clubdvin.com. We do have some spots available for membership still. You do have to apply. I am the one reading the applications. I accept bribes. But no, that's a joke. I do not actually accept bribes. This got weird. So clubdvin.com, apply, and we will see you on Wednesday for our next Wine Wednesday, and in 2 weeks for the next AMA. Thanks, Dave, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.